In the NFL, you do not want to pay for past production. These Trey Hendrickson trade rumors simply will not go away. So today I want to talk about why trading for the Bengals star pass rusher simply does not make sense for the Bears. I get it. Trey is one of the best pass rushers in the entire league, and he would instantly be a huge upgrade to this defensive line. The problem is we would be paying Trey for his past production, not what he's going to provide for us over the next few years. And to me, it's just a move I think smart teams should avoid. When you look back at the move for Cincinnati, the Bengals' pickup of Trey Hendrickson has been one of the better value deals in the entire league over the past couple of years. They signed him as a free agent. They did not give up any draft picks to acquire him, and they signed him at age 27, right in his prime, and on top of all that, got him on a value contract at just $15 million a season. Now, when you think about any team that would want to trade for Trey Hendrickson right now, they would have to give up valuable draft picks. They would have to pay him a lot more money. And you'd be bringing him in at age 31, not age 27. Context matters in the NFL, and it's something that no other content creators or media guys seems to be talking about with this situation. To me, I think the best thing for the Bengals would be to keep Trey Hendrickson, let him play mad this season, and let him walk as a free agent next year, and then you would get a comp pick in return. I think he's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, and for a team that wants to contend for a Super Bowl this season, it simply makes no sense to trade him. But for a team like the Bears, a lot of people are like, this is a team that's in win now mode and could use a guy like Trey Hendrickson. And while that's true, this is also a team that values flexibility. And trading for and paying for a guy's past production simply does not fit into that model. The Bengals had him at a value. He signed a 4-year contract in 2021 worth just $60 million. Over his 4 seasons in Cincy, he produced 57 total sacks while making 4 straight Pro Bowl appearances. He also added 323 pressures in 4 seasons as well. This is a guy who led the NFL with 17 and a half sacks in each of the last 2 seasons. Absolutely elite production as a pass rusher. The biggest question is, when will his play start to decline, and how much will teams have to pay him? I don't see any way that Trey Hendrickson is as valuable to any team in the future as he has been for Cincinnati for the last 4 years. The next team he plays for is going to be paying him a lot more for potentially a lot less production. What the Bears need to be doing is looking for the next Trey Hendrickson, not overpaying a guy for past production. The bottom line is the Bengals got elite production out of Trey Hendrickson for 4 seasons at an extremely valuable cost. For only $15 million a year, they got roughly 15 sacks and 80 pressures a season. You won't find a better deal in the NFL than that. But they also most likely got Trey's 4 most productive seasons of his NFL career. They paid him for ages 27, 28, 29, and 30-year-old seasons. Now, I'm not saying he can't still play at an elite level, but matching his production in Cincinnati is going to be nearly impossible to do on his next contract. But what makes matters even worse is the next 4 years, not only will he be 31, 32, 33, and age 34, with his production expected to drop off at some point, but he will also be making most likely twice as much money. Whoever trades for Trey is going to be paying him a lot more than $15 million a season and maybe $30 million a year or more, while also getting a lot less than 15 sacks and 80 pressures a year, especially for the last year or two of his contract. So to me, I think the Bears should be trying to find the next Trey, a young potential free agent bargain, a guy who could potentially break out at age 25 to 27, which is kind of what they did this year in free agency with Dio Odengbo from the Colts. Now, I do not expect Dio to produce anything like Trey Hendrickson, but Ryan Poles took a shot that maybe, just maybe, this is a guy who could break out at age 25. I'm not trying to compare Dio to Trey, but just showing that both had similar production after 4 years in the NFL and both signed value free agent contracts. If Dio could somehow break out, that would be better than trading for someone's past production and paying a guy like Trey Hendrickson. Just a quick glance here, though. Going back to 2021, when the Bengals signed Trey Hendrickson, he was 27 years old. And after 4 years in the NFL, he had just 19 and a half career sacks. When you look at what Dio Odengbo has done in the NFL, he is now signed with us at age 25, 2 years younger than Trey was, after also serving 4 years in the NFL with similar production. He has just a couple sacks less than Trey had at 16 and a half, but similar pressure numbers as well. 113 in 4 years for Trey, 108 for Dio. Both also had 18 career starts after 4 seasons and played a lot as reserve pass rushers. But Dio had been healthier, and he earned his role by contributing on special teams. Both signed contracts for around $15 million a season. Dio ended up getting about $16 million a year, but the salary cap has went way up since then. So he's honestly getting paid less as far as value goes. But honestly, I think the Bears should avoid paying for any players that are over the age of 30, especially when you're giving them big time contracts. When you're looking at what happened with Grady Jarrett, he's a guy who was coming off an injury, and we kind of got him on a value deal. He's not a guy who's had 15 sacks over the last 2 years. And so far, this seems to be what Ryan Poles is doing. And I think, honestly, that might be one of the reasons why the Joe Tooney extension is not done yet. Poles probably does not want to pay for Tooney's past production, and he wants to pay for what we will be getting in Chicago over the next 2 to 3 years. So when you look at the entire picture, I do not see the Bears trading or being interested in bringing in Trey Hendrickson. Look, the bottom line with this overall is that Trey Hendrickson is an elite pass rusher. He would make the Bears a lot better in 2025 and possibly 2026 as well. But we'd get nowhere near the value that the Bengals have got the last 4 years. And it might end up hurting our team in 2027 and 2028, depending on the type of contract Trey would receive. In order for me to make a trade like this, we would have to not give up a high value draft pick, and Hendrickson would have to agree to some kind of contract in which the last 2 years of the deal are not guaranteed. And from what I've heard, this is something Trey is not willing to do right now, and he's looking to get paid as much as he can. This is probably his last big payday in the NFL. So for the Bears, I just simply do not think this makes sense, but I am interested to hear what you guys think. But let me know how you guys feel about the situation. Please remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned. I have a ton more content on the way. And until next time, bear down.